On the 16th of October, 1865, just a few months after the Civil War's final battle, a small delegation of bricklayers from Baltimore traveled 100 miles up the road to Philadelphia. There they were welcomed by a handful of Philadelphia bricklayers, and in a rented hall, the two groups founded the International Union of Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers of North America. It would have seemed an unremarkable event, even to the outside world, and you could hardly fault the local press for ignoring a meeting of a few earnest tradesmen. After all, unions failed as quickly as they formed back in those days. But this union did not fail. But now it's time for the next steps, because mere survival isn't what this union was ever about. It isn't what has made BAC a powerful force for craft workers for a century and a half. Now it's time to grow, and now it's time to build. Build, adapt, change. It's the convention theme, not just because it ties back to BAC, not because it looks good on a t-shirt. No, it's our theme because it sums up what BAC has done and must do to thrive and win a better life for our members. We are builders, you and I. We chose careers as skilled tradespeople who build houses, schools, offices, factories, hospitals, churches, I could go on, taking unremarkable raw materials, putting them together, and turning them into something beautiful and functional. It's in our blood. It does no good to worry about losing work to prefabrication. We need to make sure our members are running the fab shops. That's our work, and we're going to fight for it. We will adopt, and we will change, and we will continue to build. But you know, the changes that will most affect our union in the coming years don't concern building materials or methods of construction. They concern people. People want to belong to organizations where they think they're going to get a fair shake. They need to believe that they have a future in the union. They need to believe that someday they could be standing up here chairing an international union convention. They need to see that as a possibility. So we need to change the way we recruit new leaders. We need to look past the folks that just look like us and focus on bringing in young voices and black voices and Latino voices and women voices and Asian voices and LGBTQ voices and the voices of every kind of person who wants to build a better life with a trowel. And we will. We will. I know we will, because we don't have a choice. If the leaders of this union 20, 30, 40 years ago, 40 years after it formed, hadn't adapted and hadn't opened up the doors to the Irish and the Italians and the African Americans, we'd be a forgotten relic of the past. If they hadn't adapted to expand our trade jurisdiction to include block layers and tile setters and stone masons and plasterers and marble masons and cement masons and terrazzo mechanics and refractory bricklayers and finishers, we'd be a historical footnote. Now, on the other hand, if they'd been willing to really embrace profound change and bring in the hod carriers when they had the chance, or claim drywall as their work when it was first introduced, well, who knows how strong we'd be today. But we can't worry too much about the past. We can learn from it, and we can celebrate it, and we should celebrate it, especially at this 150th anniversary convention. But we don't live in the past, and we can't live in the past. The second we start to do that is the second we start dying as a union. No, sisters and brothers, we're not here to look back. We are here to build. We will build the future we want for our union and the future we want for a generation of craft workers to come. We will set our eyes forward and make our plans for the future, even as we know that we will always be adapting those plans and we will always be ready to change those plans to build the future we want. Build, adapt, change. Build, adapt, change. Build, adapt, change. Because this is the cycle, and it's the only cycle that will allow us to unite all members of our trade for the next 150 years.